Hello and welcome to Robert Martinez's Info 294 Internship Status Report 3 video. I'll be in this video sharing what it is I do on a daily basis at SJSU, the SJSU Library, Love Library. I work in the Special Collections and University Archives and division of the SJSU Library. We're currently bringing in lots of documents, images that have been scanned in Tijuana, the Tijuana archives, and are being brought over into the university. I'm creating metadata, MS-DOS metadata, for lots of these images and documents. So the first thing I do each day when I come into the internship, either I'm working from here at home, I can work remotely, or I do go in to the site as well. But either way, it's the same thing I'm doing. And so the interface here is going to be the same. It's the same interface layout that I use at the library, same one as I use at home. So first thing I do is I check my communications, make sure I'm up to date on everything that's going on with the team, and answer any emails, go over any notifications. For example, yesterday we were talking about metadata subjects. I suggested using some metadata subjects for pageants, and then in Spanish concurso, because the current collection I'm working with has a lot of pictures of beauty pageants in them, and also a lot of flyers. I suggested we have a flyer subject for the metadata spreadsheet that I'm on, because the collection I'm working in has a lot to do with Tijuana-based plays, theatrical productions. The person that's highlighted in this collection was a famous actor in Tijuana, Baja California, and so there are flyers to some of his shows. So there was several times I encountered them. We didn't have a subject for that, so I suggested we use that. So that was one of the conversations we had about that. Then I just kind of let them know up to date on my progress, about how far I've gone through certain collections, what numbers I'm on. Sometimes I have questions about personages in the images that I'm able to discover, and just get corroboration on their identity. Related items, as far as like cross-referencing related images and documents, and just whatever else comes into play. Notifying and receiving information about what's going on with the team. Then, after I'm done with that, make sure I'm up to date, I go to our MS-DOS spreadsheet for the Tijuana Archives collection. You'll notice down here there is a list of different people. These are the names of the collections that are coming in. There's a whole bunch of different ones. There's a big team of people working both in the actual library itself. There's students and grad students at SJSU that come in and either doing internships or volunteering, and then library employees and staff working on it, and then a lot of remote teams too, in Mexico and other places. So there's a bunch of different collections in this huge archive that are coming in that have been scanned and sent to us at SJSU. And so I'm working primarily with, let's see, ones I started on. Where did he go? His name is Emilio Fierro. He was a famous actor, stage actor in Baja California, and he also had a pretty, as I'm finding out, pretty crazy life, as far as like being part of the scenes and social life. Also had a lot to do with beauty pageants. A lot of beauty pageants. So there he is. Emilio Fierro is the guy's name. So this is his collection. So I've gone through. There's about, I would say, well, they've already uploaded some of the work I've done. So there were originally in this section 1,000 images. And then there's negatives. We don't really do anything for the negatives except label them. That's the only metadata they really need. We're more interested in the photos. So I'm working through different series here. And so what I do is I'll go to the let's see. Well, first here, these are the metadata guidelines. So I have to follow these guidelines. And actually, I've added to these guidelines. These are guidelines for grammatical word use and to keep things consistent, be grammatically consistent, and descriptions, keeping the descriptions and the titles, the labels, different MDOS categories in the spreadsheet to make the rules to keep them consistent. So I have been making sure that I follow this, and then also I'm also kind of a second site on this as far as like making sure that other people are adhering to these guidelines. Some of the people that speak, or some of the people that are working on this, are not native Spanish speakers like me, like myself. So I make sure that they're adhering to the guidelines too. I'll go back and double check, make sure it's up to these guidelines. That their translations are good, that they are also grammatically correct and following these rules. Here is the scanned archive. So this is a Medio Fieto. So here, I'll start here. Here are the scan uploaded to the drive documents and images from different collections that we've got from T1 archives. Like I said, I'm working with this guy, Medio Fieto, and then another collection I'll show you in a minute. But right now I am going through, I'm on the 300 series. I finished all the rest of these. Let's see. So right here, that's where I left off yesterday. So what I do is I go to whatever the document is. So let's say I'll start here at 349. I've already labeled it English. Depending on how my mind's working, I'll do all this English first and then all the Spanish, and then sometimes I'll go English, Spanish, and then keep going across instead of down, depending on how my mind's working. But so we have the title, which has a character limit. We don't want to keep them short and to the point. Then the title, and then the title is Spanish. And then if there's any author creations for the pictures, so if there's if we have for the photo the name of the person that took it, the photographer or the institution that took it, we'll use that. This is not so much. These are mostly candidates from Medio Fieto's life. Another collection I'm working on, which is more political, the history of Tijuana politics, that has more creator and photographer titles in it because it's from the political parties that are engaged in, or that are occurring, that are taking part in what's occurring in the photo. And then we have the subject genre, photographs. These are all photographs right here. Then descriptions. Descriptions are more detailed. We try to keep them grammatically consistent. We want certain verb tenses and things like that for both English and Spanish. So then I look at the photo and then write it in English, and then I'll translate it to Spanish, or sometimes I'll do it the other way around. Labeling who's who, like Medio Fieto in this picture is on the right, so I'm going to make sure we are labeling the appropriate. Also, actually this is a good one. This is 348. 348, so that's the 300 series. 300 series. So this series is Medio Fieto. A lot of them, he goes on vacations a lot to Hawaii. It's fun to really learn about somebody's life. Like, this is his whole life in here. So 348. So, for example, this is a picture of him. He was very big into beauty pageants. He's always like documenting them or involved in them. So, this woman here says Reina del Carnaval, which is like queen of the pageant, queen of the carnival. So I will label that any Spanish or English that's written in the photos I translate in the description. It says queen of the carnival. Then right here, abstract details. Some of the photos have dates written on the back. There's a stamp from the photo processor, so we put that if there is a date, we include it in the title, like right here. And then also we include it in the date column over here. And this date was stamped on the back of the photo. And then we label any persons we know that are in the photo. And then the big part is the subject topics, like how people search for them. So candids, like candid photos, folklorico dress is a big one. Using these columns to determine subjects, parades, and then translate both into English and Spanish, and then label any person just we know. Also, another thing we do is if there is a geographical subject that we can nail down. Sometimes it's hard to find out. Like one time I had to research for 3 hours to figure out it was at Disneyland in 1960. But he's on vacation in Hawaii in the Byodoin Temple, which I've actually been to. So it's helpful. Like a lot of these places that he's been to in Hawaii and California and then in Mexico, I've been to, so I can kind of pinpoint these. And we can't always get them, but we can get a lot of them. So that's what I do. I'll go through all these photos and then make sure I'm describing them accurately. Here's the example of the stamp on the back that gives us a date. Some of the photos don't come out right or are not scanned well. Might take me a while to find one of those because we send them back and then they get rescanned. So the ones that are not good pictures will get rescanned and sent back. So these are all, I think, good. So I won't be able to find any bad examples. But see, this one's kind of blurry. The scan wasn't that great, so I should probably tell someone about that when I get to it. All right. Then let me show you the other collection I'm working with, and that is, instead of the arts and recreational aspect, this is Manuel Quiroz La Bastida, who was the mayor of Tijuana. He was the mayor of Tijuana. I think he was 1950. See, I should know this by now. I've done it enough. Let's see here. Well, he was in 1959 to 64, I think. Anyway, so this collection is a little more challenging. The Medio Fieros is not so difficult. The collection for La Bastida is much more difficult to do because there's a lot more people to identify, and there's a lot of political conventions and interactions going on here. So I have to figure out a lot of these famous politicians in Mexican and Tijuana politics. So a lot of these are, for example, the PRI is the Partido Revolucionario Independencia de Mexico. This is the one of the big political parties that's still around today. So this is La Bastida up here in the front, talking, and so I'm translating all of these. Anything that's written in Spanish to translate. I identify a lot of this. There's a lot of the same people follow this guy around, part of his political group. So let's see. I'll give you an example. Let's see which ones I do recently. Okay, 199. Okay, so there's the governors that he's politically aligned with, and other Tijuana mayors that came before him and after him. He's often interacting with, and for this particular collection, let's see, that's 199. For this particular collection, I'll have to zoom in real big to kind of identify these people. There is La Bastida right here, and then this is another Tijuana mayor, Gustavo Arenal, and then I've had to get to know these guys. Actually, my supervisor Lisa put together